Definitely, I can see that there are attempts made to make it into the group of reconquered cities. There many spaces have been taken back from the auto transport and automobiles, and I haven't seen enough of it really to know about the outlying districts. But I do think that the city is on its way. I'm a little bit worried that they are more, that the planning and the thinking is still part of the planning of the 20th century, where the big issue was to have more capacity for cars and more parking lots. And I think that we should, in the 21st century, be much more concerned about how to reduce traffic and find other ways of getting around to solve some of the basic problems of our time in history. I've heard this before. I've heard this every time I worked in anywhere. I've heard it in Australia, that the Australians will never be interested in using public space. I've heard it in Denmark. We are Danes, we are not Italians, we'll never come out. They will even say that we are Danes, we are not Slovenians. They are much more used to being outdoors, talk to each other. So this doesn't hold true. What we've seen every place in the world, even in the Middle East where I'm working in Amman, is that if we provide nice, inviting places for people, people would love to promenade, would love to sit and talk, would love to enjoy city, enjoy other people. So there's nothing to confirm these sayings. And I do think that deep in the bottom of our hearts there are so many things which are similar for people from all cultures. Man is a social animal. Always people were the greatest interest in our life. From the day we were born to the last day, there is nothing more interesting than other people. I know of big cities who say we cannot be a nice city because we are too big. I know of very small cities saying we cannot be nice because we are not enough people to make it nice. You have a very fine size. You are lucky that you're not bigger. And many cities are in the same range as you are with inhabitants. Strasbourg, Edinburgh, maybe Zurich to some extent. And so there are so many cities with that kind of population. And I think that the smaller you are in population, the better you can make a more sustainable city. I'm afraid it will happen like in Lyon. They did a lot of underground parking so they can get the cars off the streets. So now they have all the underground is full of cars, and so are the streets. So when they were finished with the underground, they were not tough enough to take it away on the ground floor. So they just have twice as many parking lots. And that means they have twice as much traffic to and from the city. And that is exactly what you should not invite at this point of time. So I would rather remove some of the parking. I would also, in my town of Copenhagen, we would say that if people move to the city center, there is so much public transportation, they are so close to everything, they don't need the car much. The car could be placed further away from where they live. And you could have the car like a motorboat, something you use on Sundays to go out in the nature. But you don't need it in daily life. Also in modern housing now, we are close to the point that they don't make parking spots in new housing in central city areas. They make 20 parking spots for shared car system. That means that 100 families can have 20 cars, and then they have a car share system. You know what that is? Because you don't need suburban living in the city center. That is just a leftover from the cheap petroleum age and the age where we have no concerns in the world. Now there's a number of new issues. And living in a city is a privilege. But having 1 or 2 cars is not necessarily what makes city living especially wonderful. It could be questioned if that habit should be taken with you there. Mm-hmm. That will come very quickly. Mm-hmm. Because when we will need cars which are much more expensive, which have all kinds of energy saving measures, and it has been found out that these car sharing systems are pretty smart, because most people have their car standing for most of the time doing nothing. So it's a good use of economy to share the cars.